Listen to this.
Play a little game here. Do you think Tom was throwing to Gronk? Do you think he was? Okay. Troy Aikman thought it was one of the best throws he made all game. I'm not so sure. I'm going to just go out on a limb and say he's coming out here to Evans, right? He wants to throw the hitch to Evans. He knows these corners are squatting. He's like, I am not going to throw a pick six on a hitch route, right? So I'm kind of unsure. Okay, Evans, if you don't get the hitch route, he's going to turn up and scramble on kind of the go route. I'm going to throw kind of a high ball to Evans that's going to be Evans's ball or nobody else's. Oh, but guess who runs right underneath it is Gronk. Now, will we get Tom to admit who he was throwing to? I don't think so. He wouldn't admit that he didn't know it was fourth down. There's no way he's going to admit that he wasn't throwing to Gronk.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Can I have some of that Haterade?
Fantastic, right? Dripping with sarcasm. That is on ESPN Plus. Peyton's thoughts on detail. Like many teams, the Bucs have been beat up, but Gronk has been really stepping up. Touchdown catch in the last 2 games from Tom Brady, and he's a little hungry.
It's like a saying my mom used to say, it must be maple syrup because butter don't drizzle like that. And so that's kind of how it goes. I mean, when that has happened, that saying just came right about to my head, the back shoulder again. Just brings it back to the day of when we've been, started throwing it, a few years ago, not a few years ago, many few years ago.
What? Huh? Does that make Antonio Brown, I don't know, butter? Or, I don't know.
I just love pancakes.
I know. Antonio Brown officially became a Buc yesterday, signing a 1-year deal that could pay him up to $2.5 million with incentives. He's been working out with the strength and conditioning staff. And by the way, Tom Brady talked about him with Randy Moss earlier today.
I've watched Antonio for a long time and then had the opportunity to play with him last year for a short period of time. And, Jason and Bruce, felt like there was a right opportunity to add him to a really talented group that we already have. And I certainly didn't object to it. I think the more good players we have on our team, the better we can become. And he's joining a very deep group of players at that position. And Antonio's going to work hard as he always has. He's a very hard worker. Everyone knows that. And, we'll see what we can do when he gets on the field.
All right, some good words there from his new quarterback, Tom Brady. NFL insider Adam Schefter is back now on SportsCenter. Adam, Brown can't play until Week 9, but what can you tell us about how the team is planning to get him up to speed and ready to play?
Well, he's already practicing with the team, Ryan. And in fact, the Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians said after today's practice that Antonio Brown, quote unquote, looks fantastic. So that tells you that Antonio Brown, who takes an awful lot of pride in his conditioning level, in the way he handles his body with his nutrition, came into camp ready to play. And so the Buccaneers are going to get him up to speed on that playbook. And it certainly sounds like he is on track to play in Week 9 in a division rivalry against the New Orleans Saints, a team that beat Tampa in the opening week of the season.
That bodes well for an already fantastic receiving core. Now, Tampa Bay has the 3rd best odds to win the Pro Football Championship, and they're hoping to be the first team to play in their home stadium for the title. Now, Adam, what can you tell us about if the league, I should say, is planning to let fans be there for the Super Bowl?
Well, there will be fans there, Ryan. The question is how many. Now, right now, the league is planning to have 20% seating capacity at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Raymond James Stadium holds about 65,000+ fans. There would be some temporary seating for a Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl this year, if it is 20% of capacity, would be somewhere between 13,000 to 15,000 fans in attendance for the game. But I should also add that that's right now. The league is talking to local officials, government officials, to see what it can and can't do. If they can get more fans in the stadium for the Super Bowl, certainly the league would like to do that. The 20% seating capacity is not a final number today, but a reflection of where the league is at currently with where the pandemic is at in our country.
Well, that'll be interesting, especially considering what we've experienced with fans in stadiums this year. And even if Week 18 has to be added to the schedule, the Super Bowl is still set to be played on February 7th. Adam, thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
16 days after the Lakers won the NBA title, the Dodgers celebrated a World Series around the league that Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback without Odell Beckham Jr. since he doesn't feel the pressure to force the ball to the Browns star wide receiver. Beckham tore his ACL in a win over the Bengals last weekend, and Mayfield was asked about this theory today. Listen to this.
Well, one, I think it's just completely insensitive to a guy that just tore his ACL. So I'm not even going to comment on it. You never want to lose guys, and that's where I'm going to leave that one. It's just awful to lose a guy like that. And we believe we have a great team, and so that's why we're going to ask these guys to step in and multiple guys to try and fill that void. You know, we still going to lean on this running game. We're still going to lean on this play action and trust these guys to make the one-on-one plays when they're there. Without him, there might not be as many one-on-one opportunities, but that means we just have to be more efficient in the zone coverages and things like that to make those plays.
The 2-5 Cowboys facing the Eagles on Sunday night with rookie Ben DiNucci getting first team reps in practice today as Andy Dalton continues to recover from a devastating hit by Washington's John Bostic, which resulted into a concussion. Here's Mike McCarthy today on his third quarterback in less than a month.
Obviously, just because you're playing with Dak Prescott and then you're playing with Andy Dalton, so just their experience alone, plays into how you plan. But we need more from others, and throughout our whole football team. I think that's stating the obvious. But Ben needs to do the right things, and the first thing is, he needs to command the offense, keep us in clean plays, and the highest priority is to make sure he takes care of the football.
A closer look at America's team's new quarterback. That is Ben DiNucci. He transferred to James Madison after spending 3 seasons at Pitt. Last season, he led the FCS in completion percentage. DiNucci finished his JMU career ranking among the top 10 in completions, passing yards, and passing touchdowns. But with no preseason, the only game reps he's had are in the last 2 weeks. Ryan?
Kevin, another quarterback making his first start, Tua Tagovailoa. The Tagovailoa era begins this Sunday at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami against the Rams. The rookie lefty out of Alabama steps in for Ryan Fitzpatrick for the first start of his NFL career. He had the bye week to get ready, and earlier today he explained his leadership plan for this game.
Well, I think my leadership plan is just to be the same Tua I've always been. I don't got to go out yelling at guys. That's just not the way I lead. I'm just going to be me, how I am on the sideline, how I am off the field. It's pretty much how I'm going to be on the field. There might be certain instances where, we might get into it a little bit with the receivers or, the linemen. But, everyone's just so competitive here. That's just the nature of how the game goes sometimes.
Now, Tua completed both of his passes in his NFL debut when he took over for Ryan Fitzpatrick late in the Dolphins' shutout over the Jets in Week 6. Afterward, he soaked in the moment, sitting on the field near the exact spot where Miami ended the drive he led, FaceTiming with his parents. Just days later, as Miami's bye week began, head coach Brian Flores made a surprising move, making Tua his starter. And that decision not only ushers in a new era of Dolphins football, but will also put an end to one of the NFL's most curious streaks, 5 years without a left-handed starting quarterback in an NFL game. It hasn't always been like this. In each season from 1970 through 2015, the first 46 years of the merger between the AFL and NFL, at least one southpaw signal caller started at least one NFL game. It only makes sense. 1 out of every 10 humans on the planet is left-handed. So why is Tua Tagovailoa the only wrong-handed thrower in a fraternity of over 100 current quarterbacks? Some say baseball steals them all. During the 2020 season, 1 out of every 4 pitchers threw from the south side. And lefty hurlers like Clayton Kershaw and Blake Snell are among the most successful in the majors. But lefty quarterbacks have excelled in the NFL.
Throw back in the end zone. Touchdown! He's going! A touchdown!
From 1974 to 1994, nearly 30% of the quarterbacks who took home NFL MVP honors were lefties. First, there was Kenny the Snake Stabler, MVP in 1974, who 2 years later would lead the Raiders to a win in Super Bowl XI. Then in 1988, during his MVP year, Cincinnati's Boomer Esiason would lead the Bengals to Super Bowl XXIII. before losing. He might have done if his career wasn't infamously derailed by an animal cruelty conviction. Vic's final season was 2015. That same year, in Week 17, Kellen Moore, currently the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, was the last lefty to start under center in an NFL game. Since then, more than 1,000 NFL regular season games have been played, but until now, no starting quarterback has been left-handed. This Sunday, that changes.
And Tua will become the 22nd different starting quarterback for the Dolphins since 2000. Marcus Spears back with us here on SportsCenter. Marcus, what are you looking for when Tua makes his first NFL start this weekend?
The first thing, Kev, is poise. I want to see there'll be jitters. Look, this is his first start. The Jets game when he played, I'm not attributing that to anything he did or will do in the NFL. This is about the Rams versus Tua Tagovailoa in his first career NFL start, and he's facing a defense that we just saw give the Chicago Bears fits. I expect them to do a lot of similar things they did with him in college, RPO-type offensive plays, getting the ball out of his hands as quick as possible, which is going to be imperative to him not only having success, but staying healthy because Aaron Donald is on the other side. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. There's a level of excitement, but there's also a level of me that is concerned about the guys that he's having to face in his first career start.
Yeah, life comes at you fast when Aaron Donald breaks the double team right in front of your face, right? All right, let's stay in the AFC East.
Absolutely.
Right? The first place Bills, they host the Patriots Sunday in a game New England really needs to win. And after saying he was embarrassed following Sunday's struggles, what are you expecting to see from Cam Newton and this offense against the Bills?
Not much, Kev. And I know, unfortunately for me, man, I was so high on Cam Newton and what they were doing with him offensively. Him and Josh McDaniels seemed to build a rapport, and they had figured this thing out about how they wanted to go forward with Cam. But Cam is not playing well. And the Bills are coming off a couple games now where they hadn't played to what we expected them to be all season long. This is a division opponent. And I'm not 100% counting Cam and Josh McDaniels and this offense out, but we're seeing struggles that even go beyond Cam. And I'm not sure if they can get these things fixed right away. The offensive line has been porous. Obviously, we've talked about the wide receivers and the weapons not being able to separate. And Cam does not look good physically. And he doesn't look good in his decision-making process. And the Bills are going to try to speed all of that up with Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier calling those defenses. So I don't expect much. And I could be wrong. But if Cam has another performance like he's had the previous 2 weeks, it could be time to get Jarrett Stidham in there and for New England and Bill Belichick to start focusing on the next season as far as what they want to do at the quarterback position.
And to your point, earlier this week, Newton has mentioned if he doesn't step up, he knows he faces the possibility of being benched. My, the season has turned. Marcus Spears with us here on SportsCenter. Still ahead